Hello and welcome, I'm Jack Henderson and I've been very lucky to cover some fantastic sporting events in recent times, from photographing local rugby games here in Plymouth, to documenting and filming historic speedboat races overseas in Hong Kong. And these past few months, I've also been part of a media team for one of the most popular sports teams in Plymouth. A sport which is definitely popular in its own right, yet fails to receive a decent spotlight in the national media. Today, I'm talking about British basketball. Here in the UK, the sport is one which is struggling, and with a pandemic on our hands, it definitely hasn't helped matters. On the 17th of March, this year's British Basketball League season was postponed until further notice, and community basketball games and sessions up and down the land also had to be put to a halt, as social distancing measures started to become the new normal. This truly made for an unprecedented time in British basketball.
All our grant-funded stuff, everything has just completely stopped. Everyone has really had to sort of just sit back and take stock and work out what's going on.
It is very disappointing, still putting in the hard work, but basketball, is gone for the season.
I love sport. I think sport has a major role to play in people's mental health and positive attitude going forward. So this is really difficult for me at the moment.
So what exactly is going on for the sport right now in the UK? In this special podcast, I'll be speaking with company directors and professional players amongst others to find out not only more about the sport's unique position in the country, but also more specifically what the scene looks like here in the Southwest. And perhaps more importantly, later on I'll be seeking an answer for a much more topical question. Will British basketball be able to continue once an end for the pandemic is in sight? Or with current and future funding worries, could this mark the end for the sport as we know it? I must be honest, I used to know absolutely nothing when it came to basketball. My interest was practically non-existent. Although since working closely with the Plymouth Raiders, my knowledge for basketball has slowly but surely been growing. In other big countries such as America and Australia, basketball is quite the signature sport. Although in Britain, this isn't quite the case, as the sport takes a backseat to bigger sports in the country, such as football or rugby.
I'm from the South, I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. Basically across the whole state of Georgia, everybody's playing basketball against the whole country. And when you become more and more aware of basketball and just how, much it's so popular it is, it's like you see it on television and you see kids your age or, they start to rank kids as far as talent. So basketball is taken very seriously in America.
Naturally, many professional basketball players in the country are British, although many of them hail from the States too. Rashad Hassan is one of them.
Obviously, my dream was to go to the NBA, but fortunately, it's very tough to make it to the NBA. One day, I got a call from Rob Paternostro for the Leicester Riders, and he basically offered me a job. And I went out there for 2 seasons and did really well, and that really just gave me a good reputation in the BBL that kind of just helped launch my professional career.
And during his time with the Plymouth Raiders, he's been considered a fan favourite by many locals who support the team.
It's been great. My 2 years in Plymouth. Here, I've become older and, more experienced and more mature as a person and athlete. So it's been, a great feeling getting out in the community. I've taken it upon myself this year to just do, charitable events or just give back to the community on my own. And yeah, I played with some great players and I couldn't ask for anything better. It's definitely not on, bigger media outlets, but slowly but surely, I think the fans are going to make a demand for it. And I'm excited to see that in the future.
Since being a part of the Raiders media team, I've witnessed some great basketball moments both on and off the court. And as so many of them have been exciting or even heartwarming at times, my views on the sport have definitely changed for the better. And I'm just one of many who have been won over by the sport in recent times.
So I'm Rebecca and I am a second year journalism student at Marjon, and I have my work experience with Raiders. So I do all of the game day graphics and stuff I post on social media on game days, and then before game days I do pre-game interviews with the head coach, which is really interesting. And then I wrote a report from that, which goes onto the website. And then I also send that off to the Herald. I also do the post-game, so after the games as well, interview head coach. And then I write the match reports as well, send that off to the Herald. And then, yeah, that's basically all I do. Oh, and I just do loads of other bits for them too. I started going to watch basketball last year. I just literally went because my boyfriend said to me, oh, please come. And I was like, no, I don't want to. I don't like basketball. Anyway, I started going along and I really did enjoy it. And I've got to know basketball a lot more since I've been doing the work experience. I know a lot more about it because obviously I do the match reports as well. So I have to know all the technical language, which I didn't know before. But yeah, it's really developed my knowledge of basketball, which is good.
While the Plymouth Raiders are only one of 2 professional basketball teams in the Southwest, alongside the Bristol Flyers, there are still more teams and societies linked to the sport in the region. One of these is Unity Through Basketball. This year, in the Basketball England Volunteer Awards, the company scooped up an impressive 6 out of 12 awards in the category across the Southwest region. That's literally half of the awards which were up for grabs. Maddie Doyle is one of the managing directors of Unity Through Basketball, and she won an award from Basketball England, which was All Girls Inspiring Female of the Year. And not only did she win it this year, but she also won it last year too, making her the winner of this award for 2 times in a row. And when you hear her inspiring story, it's no surprise as to why she scooped up the award she has.
I was pretty amazed because I thought, well, I'm just me, and I didn't feel like I was inspiring. I've got involved with basketball through a charity event that was organised with the MS Society. To me personally, with my situation, obviously having MS, you don't know from day to day what's going to happen. I mean, I've been quite lucky. My relapses are minimal, but I truly believe that's because of sport, because I keep myself fit. I'm driven by charity events. We've done over £20,000. I like giving back to the community. I mean, it's my nature as a nurse to give back to the community, and I love doing it through sport as well because I love team sport. I love team spirit. I love people. But yeah, it was amazing. I felt really chuffed, and it was nice to be recognised for everything that we've done.
According to Basketball England in 2018, 26% of people 16 and over who play the sport regularly are female, which is just over a quarter of all regular players. So if this is anything to go by, it shows us that women definitely aren't a minority in British basketball. However, Maddie hopes that moving forward, more will be done to make women want to participate in the sport, especially once this pandemic will eventually come to an end.
I think a lot more needs to be done. And I just think it's just unfortunate that everyone looks at it as male dominated. It's for both sexes. So we're trying to provide as much opportunity as possible for the women in Plymouth to play basketball. So we had the idea of making a ladies team, which I did. And then I organised games for them to play. We've had to integrate obviously the men and the women together, which is something that they weren't used to, which they all welcomed with open arms. They've got a good relationship. They built a good rapport with their teammates. We do social events. But all in all, we've got a really good relationship within Unity. And so we're trying to provide as much opportunity as possible for the women in Plymouth to play basketball. And just that's how it all started. And it's just escalating. We're looking at doing a 3rd team now.
Troy Woodhouse is Maddie's co-managing director of the company, as well as their graphic designer. He too was awarded by Basketball England this year, this time for Volunteer of the Year. Just like Maddie, inclusivity is so important to Troy with UTB. He started the company up with the hopes of getting as many different people from different backgrounds to get involved with the sport as he possibly could.
So the idea with Unity kind of comes down from trying to create a platform where anyone is invited and you won't feel out of place. So you might be the best basketball player in Plymouth, but on your team is also someone who's just starting out in basketball and has got no confidence. But you as a person, you have to be fine with that. Do you know what I mean? There's no alienating anyone. And when we found in the past when people do that, we take them to one side and say, look, we're not about that. Please take that somewhere else, or just relax. And I think with that mentality, you know, we've got, I don't know, like we just grew bigger and bigger. We said right from the very beginning, there's no exclusion of anyone. You know, like we had people turning up with like I don't know, 60, 70-year-olds, playing basketball with 20-year-olds. But everyone's cool. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't matter.
The Plymouth Raiders are currently the only professional basketball team here in Devon and Cornwall. So this could lead people to think that opportunities to get involved with basketball in this part of the country are limited, although this isn't necessarily the case.
My name is Danny McGee. I'm a basketball coach for the Plymouth Raiders professional basketball club, and I also have a role to the club as a performance pathway manager, which really sees my responsibility to the university program and our academy program. When I came in, I took responsibility to build the university program here. I had to think fast and try and get the provisions up so we could then get the participation and the process of things. We were opportunistic to have, I think, maybe 11 guys, 10 guys, 9 guys maybe in the program, and some really great moments, and not just of the winning and the successes on the floor, but actually all the guys that were just selfless throughout that, and great teammates, great people, and have been fantastic contributors. We're in a really, really strong position for the delivery of performance participation basketball at the university, alongside these guys, attaining degrees. They're student athletes, and we're really mindful, and it's really important that they, present themselves as the best version of themselves within their chosen degree pathway.
This programme gives Marjon University students a unique opportunity to combine their degrees with professional basketball play. Richard Mollard, one of the company directors of the Plymouth Raiders, has been trying to provide more sustainability to the club for years, and this programme is one of the ways where he has been trying to achieve this. And he's been working closely with Danny McGee to bring this university basketball programme to life.
From the Marjon side of things, it's been a bit of a bugbear of mine and Danny McGee's, actually, Coach McGee, that kids in this country, a lot of them get farmed to the States, whether they're good enough to go or not. And yeah, a lot of kids want that opportunity and want to try that. But there are also a lot of kids that get sort of sent out to the States on false promises, and then they come back after a year. And what we're offering is exactly what it is. It is, you come along, you pay for university, as most people over here do, but you get a fantastic basketball enrichment at a great college, a great university.
It's a new programme, yet is one which has gone from strength to strength, with some of the students currently playing for the BBL team too.
All these guys are undergraduate guys. We stumbled on an absolute diamond, I think, in Denver Ubiaro, who was already part of the university here. I think he set the tone for what we wanted to do and what we could do here. Toler Akiki and Josh Palmer, who, again, they lent themselves to the university program and the goals I set for that. And Isaiah Walker, who had spent previously a year in the States. He redshirted a year, but he was a straight A student in psychology, so his profile was really attractive, and we're fortunate to all those guys. And like I say, we're just trying to develop that pool of British players within a 3-year time frame for as many opportunities as they can go get for themselves, and we can support them too after.
As time's gone on, the sport has slowly but surely become more visible within the Southwest especially. And for a sport which isn't as recognised by the masses in the UK as others, you'd think that those involved may not take the sport that seriously. But in fact, it's quite the opposite. And the BBL is just an example of how seriously the sport is taken in the UK.
Yeah, I think they all take it really seriously. They're all really good players. They all are really dedicated. It's just great. I think we're so lucky to have people that actually want to interact with us as journalists, which is really great as well. So yeah, I think they're all really good in the BBL, and also communicate with other teams. So say that if we're away, and I don't normally go up to them because I'm busy on Sundays and Saturdays and stuff like that, they normally send us down pictures and liaise with us, so that's really good. So as a BBL and as a whole, it's really, really good.
So yes, the sport does seem to be taken seriously by all those involved, and generally speaking, it probably could be seen as one of the more family-friendly sports you can attend as a spectator. So from this alone, surely this would be enough to keep the sport up and running rather comfortably, right? Well, sadly, there's a lot more to it than that. And with recent worldwide events, the sport is struggling more than ever before.
Well, I think we're like most businesses, to be honest. Everyone has really had to sort of just sit back and take stock and work out what's going on.
As the coronavirus pandemic eventually hit the UK earlier this year, nationwide lockdowns had to be put into place. And with games being cancelled and ticket sales effectively coming to a complete halt, the BBL especially will have almost certainly taken a huge hit financially. And with the sport struggling to secure funding way before this pandemic even began, it's more than likely that basketball is going to be one of the worst hit sports.
The furloughing has definitely helped us, because we have furloughed pretty much everyone. And if it wasn't for that, we'd be struggling because we have no income whatsoever. So all our community coaching programs, all our grant funded stuff, everything has just completely stopped, which, as you can imagine, for any business, let alone a sports business, is pretty disastrous. We've not qualified for any grants. Some of the grants that are out there are based on rateable value, and because we don't have our own home and we're based out of offices at Marjan, we don't have a rateable value for ourselves. We're just kind of waiting for the dust to settle on a lot of things, actually, and see what we can and can't apply for.
And if we look away from finances for a moment, the players have been hit hard by this pandemic too. Many players from abroad decided to return to their home countries before lockdowns could be put into place. And when it comes to training, routines have had to be changed dramatically.
For me, it's definitely changed up my training routine. The main word we've really had to do during this whole time is adapt. You know, even though I haven't been able to make my morning commute to Marjan to go work out and, have a team practice, I still been, trying to get my home fitness, just doing a lot of ball handling, basketball drills, definitely been doing cardio. My routine isn't as, rigorous or scheduled as it was when the season was going on, but at the same time, still been keeping in shape. But it just very disappointing that, still putting in the hard work, but basketball, is gone for the season. The exercise is good, keeps my mind right, keeps me in a positive mind state, but I definitely love exercising to perform on the game days a lot better.
With social distancing measures put into place by the government, this has also made face-to-face training with players practically impossible. And much like many other workplaces at the moment, Danny has been doing video calls with his students to make sure that everyone is doing as best as they can in these unpredictable circumstances.
Since we've come into this lockdown, and everyone's gone their separate ways at home, and some, retained in the student accommodation here in Plymouth, the dialogue's been over Zoom calls or phone calls, and I'm happy to say that all those phone calls have been in high spirits, and no one's lost their character. The big thing is they still have academic responsibilities, and it's difficult for all of us. It's a new form of learning, but a challenge they're certainly all adopting and they're doing well with. Everyone's just trying to support each other where we can. Everyone's working hard on their academics. Everyone's itching to get back, onto the basketball court. We're here and we're itching.
Although the current situation may be dire, everyone in the basketball community in the Southwest seems to be doing their bit to help keep the sport alive in the meantime. And from what I've seen and heard, social media is definitely playing a big part at the moment in keeping people's spirits up. At Unity Through Basketball, there have been some interesting things going on online, and everyone has been keeping in touch with each other. And if anything, this time off has actually given Troy time to think forward for the company.
We've got time to think and plan ahead. Now that we've kind of stopped, it's like, right, okay, let's plan ahead. Basketball and netball, we don't know when we're going to be playing it again. So we've been doing a lot of, like online competitions, like design your own logo, do some coloring, all this kind of stuff. Who could we make money for? We're now trying to plan ahead to approach companies and go, obviously the COVID has caused a bit of a nightmare with, your financial responsibilities. We'd like to help. So there's things as well, like we did some like mental health stuff, like we've set up like some groups where people can get together and have a chat. So Saturday nights we have our, like the blokes get together and we will have a chat. Sundays we've got we've called it the Unity Arms, which is an online pub as such. But it's just trying to make sure that everyone's kind of mental health, is good and no one's suffering. But yeah, it's just keeping it going basically.
It's a similar picture for the Raiders too. Games may have been cancelled, although the club is still doing what it can to keep its fans engaged. And during this rare time off, they've also been doing their bit to help the local community out.
We've been out working with Tamar Go Local, sort of a local food producer an organisation that helps food producers, I should say, delivering to lots of people in the community who need help. So a couple of days a week, we've been going out just delivering veg bags. On a Friday, we've then been delivering to people who have been ordering through the Tamar Valley Food Hub. We've had to change it to be a priority list now because we've been getting so many orders. And anyone who's sort of properly isolating or elderly are going high up that list, and we're making sure that they get their food. We've been putting out little videos and I've been putting out colouring pictures that the kids can get involved in. The other guys have been doing bits and bobs, and now Rashad has been recording some videos to put out. And yeah, so I think it's just important that we all try and keep in touch really and do what we can.
Without a shadow of a doubt, a lot of what keeps basketball alive in this country are the fans, especially here where the media coverage is so little. Rashad is not only a popular and award-winning BBL player, but he also sees himself as a massive basketball fan. So much so that he's decided to build his own brand, which is called Tap Athletics.
Well, it's my own personal brand. I started about 2 years ago. I love basketball. I'm always on social media. So I thought of a way to combine those two elements, and I came up with Tap Athletics, and basically I just post a whole bunch of basketball highlights, but it's really just to get people's brains that just every day they wake up they think about basketball, because for me basketball is a lifestyle. I want to spread that love I have for basketball to other people, because even if you don't play the game, even if you're not an athlete, you can find things that can help, make you become a better person through the game of basketball. Eventually, I want to turn my brand into a player development company with the kids, where they can work with me individually. I want kids that's really passionate on taking their game to the next level to work with me, and just building my brand. That's the future. Tap Athletics.
Judging from what I've seen over this past year, the fans of British basketball are completely dedicated to the sport and always seem keen to do their best in promoting it wherever they can. And if the Plymouth Raiders fan base are anything to go by, the future of British basketball could heavily be saved from its passionate supporters alone.
The fan base is amazing. So before I started going to Raiders, I didn't realise how big of a thing it was, and it's such a family orientated game. And because it's at the Pavilions, which is like the concert venue in Plymouth, they've got all the lights and the music, which is excellent. But this is the whole aspect, and the fans love it. And I think that is what makes the Raiders game, and it makes people remember them as a team, which is really good as well. And I just love it. I love going.
Those are the people I connect with and who I really get to know outside of basketball, because they reach out to you and you get to know them personally. And that's a great feeling, because, I'm from America. I'm however many miles, away from home. It's a good feeling to know that they're going to support you each and every weekend. So, the fans are kind of like family. The fans have been great. They've been really supportive, and they just motivate me to give my best ever every time.
And they have been brilliant, to be fair. Yeah, I think our fans are really keen. I mean, all fans around the country. There's been some really good banter, actually, amongst fans and teams. And yeah, so I think it's just important that we all try and keep in touch, really, and do what we can. But yeah, the fans and community are just brilliant, absolutely brilliant, especially down in Plymouth.
Basketball can also be a great mental healer for some. From what I've found out after talking to all kinds of different people, a lot of what goes on in the basketball world can help people not just physically, but also mentally in the long run.
I think sport has a major role to play in people's mental health and positive attitude going forward. And it's been really good for the girls, because some of the women that we've had in have struggled with anxiety, and I think it's helped them to come out of their shell. It's something for them. It's nothing to do with family. It's nothing to do with work. It's all about them and playing the sport. I love sport. So this is really difficult for me at the moment because there's nothing better than a good workout and coming home, you're buzzing. You don't feel lethargic. You feel awake, you feel alive. So for me, that's good because I don't want to give in to my MS. I never will do, because a lot of people with MS do have a lot of mental health issues because it does affect the brain. And on another note, I've worked in such a stressful environment that it's nice to go and let off steam and be myself, not Maddie the nurse, Maddie the mum, Maddie the wife, just me.
We did some like mental health stuff, like we've set up like some groups where people can get together and have a chat. And it's been all right, actually. Like it's one of those things where you put the idea out and you think, if I get one person that turns up, then that'd be good. But so Saturday nights we have our the blokes get together and we will have a chat. Sundays we've got we've called it the Unity Arms, which is an online pub as such. We all get together and just have a chat, and it's a lot of it's fun. Sometimes it's a bit sad, because a lot of people are feeling a bit down. But it's just trying to make sure that everyone's kind of mental health, is good and no one's suffering.
So from where I'm standing, more needs to be done to help basketball keep on running in the UK, as there are still big hurdles that the sport has to overcome. Ultimately, funding will make or break the future of British basketball. There's no getting away from it. However, it does look like there is at least some hope for certain clubs and companies. For the Plymouth Raiders, it seems as though luck could be on their side, all thanks to an unlikely yet special new partnership with the Worldwide Education Network.
When we took the club on, July 2017, we always knew to sort of get it to where we wanted to, and bearing in mind we want to build facilities as well, because that's going to help us sort of get to the next level. We always knew that at some point we'd be looking to bring on board additional inward investment. It was a bit of a right place, right time with BOW, actually. BOW own MLA College, or 60% of MLA College here in Plymouth. And they just happened to be touring the campus one day. One thing led to another. They were kind of taken down to our training session and conversations started from there, really. And then they basically said, look, we'd like to be more than a sponsor. We'd love to come on board as sort of an investment partner, and how would that work? And yeah, a few months of negotiations to see sort of how we could all work together. And it came good in February, I think it was. I think I'd be a lot more stressed right now if it wasn't for our friends in Turkey coming on board, because that's sort of relieved the pressure a little bit. I don't think I'd be quite so comfortable right now if it wasn't for them. Yeah, so it's a fantastic new partnership for us. It really is, and for the sport, and for Plymouth as well.
And as this lockdown still has no end in sight for the time being, no one can tell for sure when basketball games across the country, both casual and professional, can resume as normal. Although it seems to me that everyone's passion for the sport continues to stay strong, no matter how big or small the sport may be.
So yeah, I'm not sure when this will end and whether the season will restart or whether it will just fast forward to September when the season begins again. I'm not sure, but I'm really looking forward to it starting again, because I have missed it a lot, and it's just so great. As a journalist, I get experience, but as a spectator and a fan, I get to just have fun watching. So yeah, I think it will return soon, hopefully, but who knows when, and then we'll just see what happens from there.
With BOW on board, they've got specific ideas of wanting to challenge for trophies and potentially playing in Europe in the future, in the next 5 years. Yeah, so it's a fantastic new partnership for us. It really is, and for the sport, and for Plymouth. If we all stick together, then we should be coming out of this hopefully in the next couple of months at the latest, and then basketball season starts again in September.
We're going to do more charity events. We're always trying to figure out something that's a bit different. We are going to launch a female social league, so we're really pushing that. And we're getting some interest, and again, just carrying on doing what we're doing with it, trying to find a positive out of a negative.
So our ultimate aim is to start a social league, and it's going to be about fun. It's not going to be about who's the best player. There's not going to be anybody. Everyone is going to be inclusive in these games. There's going to be no exclusion whatsoever, no matter your ability, age, sex. regardless, it's going to be completely inclusive and fun. I think when the pandemic's over, I think Unity is going to explode. So I'm hoping that when we come out of the pandemic, we're just going to be overrun with ladies, and I'm just going to be like, wow, I've got like 7 or 8 teams. That would be amazing. It would really be fantastic.
When things go back to normal, hopefully, I come back for another season with the Raiders. I'm just staying positive through these times. This is not a time to take a break, or it's not a time to like put things off to the side. It's time to actually put things into action and get going.
Thank you for tuning in and listening to this special podcast. Make sure to keep safe, and soon enough, the basketball community will reunite once again. When this will be, no one knows for sure yet, and with the sport facing an uncertain future because of the coronavirus, it's definitely going to be interesting to see what will happen from here on in. But either way, there really is a good chance that this could mark the start of a brand new chapter for British basketball.
For all the people that's watching, just find a goal and try to accomplish it, even though it seems like it's very tough at the time. You can definitely set a goal and attain it right now. Never give up, and just know that this tough time will eventually pass.